Hey everybody, this is Steve O and Gayle Saunders at skinnypost.com. We're here bringing you the weekly off-season buzz. It's Sunday night, and tonight's big news is Santonio Holmes, former Super Bowl MVP, has been traded to the New York Jets for a fifth-round pick. Surprisingly low for such a talented player. Gayle, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I think the Steelers front organization had, they had some concerns, especially with the four-game suspension that could be lingering with Santonio Holmes coming back next season. And there's also another off-the-field issue, which could play into the reason why they had to let him go for such a low price of a fifth-round pick. But now you have to look at the receiving core. It's been known that they've actually been taking a couple interviews with a couple of the draft picks, as in Des Bryant, Golden Tate. So they were actually doing their own homework, probably gearing up for this actual trade. So if you look at the receiving core now, they have Hines Ward, they have Mike Wallace, and they have the recently brought in Redskin Antoine Rondell. So there's actually some room there for possibly a new draft pick. So how do you feel about this?
Well, I think a couple things jump out at you. One, I think they were just looking to get rid of him. I think the image in Pittsburgh right now, as we know, Ben Roethlisberger is kind of going through some things. Nothing's really been decided or come of that yet, but there's a lot of rumblings of some off-the-field concerns. Santonio Holmes had some off-the-field concerns. So I think, they're trying to change their image. Obviously, it's a football city that's rich in tradition. And I think also it'll come down to signability. He's in his final year of his contract. So they may be looking at it from a standpoint of, let's go ahead and get rid of him now for whatever we can get, because
Right.
we're not going to sign him next year. We're not going to bring him back. We're not going to give him a big-time contract. And being a number one receiver, being a Super Bowl MVP, being a go-to guy that can stretch the field, catch the ball underneath, he can take it, the house at any time. He's going to want big money, regardless of his off-the-field issues. His agent is going to want a big contract, and the Steelers just probably decided, hey, we're not willing to do it. Let's cut our losses. We'll get it what we can get. They put him on the market, and obviously they couldn't get anything higher than a fifth-round pick, or they would have. So it should just go to show you what teams are looking at a guy who's facing a suspension, who's looking at probably wanting big money. And, it may change the whole complexity of the draft coming up in April now.
That's other thing that was also going on is it was also said that, I mean, to believe it or not, he was looking actually that Santonio Holmes was looking for a bigger market. I mean, the Steelers is a big market, but I mean, now you look at he's in New York. New York is one of the biggest markets you can play in. So
In the
to hear
world.
what's that?
In the world. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, it's New York.
And I mean, if you play for New York, I mean, it's a city where you can't really actually mess up. I mean, if you do mess up, you're gonna know about it the next day in the page six or the sports section. So I mean, he wanted a bigger market, so they said. So I hear. So he's in New York.
Well, I'd have to imagine that Rex Ryan and the Jets think they're close. I mean, they got to be feeling really good about some of the pieces that they've added. I mean, they brought in LaDainian Tomlinson, who, is obviously at the end of his career, toward the end of his career, but still, the value that he brings offensively. Now you get Santonio Holmes, who is a weapon, and you do lose a big piece in Thomas Jones, but, they're adding some key pieces, and, they must feel they're close.
Yeah, don't forget fullback Tony Richardson, who's blocked for the best of them.
Yeah, yeah.
Amazing fullback.
Yeah,
So
years in Kansas City, he's a talented Pro Bowl fullback. I mean, he's definitely brings the goods. But it'll be interesting to see how this affects the draft now. I mean, the Jets, in my recent mock on skinnypost.com that we did, I had Brandon Marshall getting traded at 29th to New York. I thought the Jets would make a move for him, looking for a go-to receiver for Sanchez to grow with. Now maybe they found that guy in Sanchez, so they may look at a different direction. And now the Steelers are definitely going to take a wide receiver. I think they have to.
yeah.
As good as Hines Ward is and the talent that he brings to the table, he's heading towards the end of your career, and the draft is all about building for the future. There's a guy that comes in his first year and gives impact, that's great. That's a bonus. But in reality, the draft is what you're building for down the road. You're hoping in 2, 3, 4, 5 years that's the guy that's now your franchise. So, who's their guy at wide receiver in Pittsburgh right now? 3, 4, 5 years down the road, it's not going to be Hines Ward.
Yeah.
So Des Bryant, if he's there, they jump all over him. And they may even reach.
I thought they were going to go left tackle actually in the first round, but I think with this trade, I think you might see them, since the draft is deep in tackles, they might just go ahead and pull that trigger, get that receiver first, and then go get a tackle in the later rounds or second rounder.
Yeah. Well, I had him taking the guy from Idaho and Iupadu. He's a masher, a guy that can come in and just steamroll people. And,
right.
That's Pittsburgh style football. He comes in and just adds some power to that interior line and get Mendenhall going and do what the Steelers like to do, and just pound the ball down your throat. So, obviously, Santonio Holmes, the front office in Pittsburgh said, look, this is not our kind of player. And to get rid of a guy that's that talented for a fifth-round pick, it makes everybody go, whoa, what is going on? Obviously something's going on, and obviously there was. So,
well, and you have to look at the Jets receiving core. You have Braylon Edwards is your number one, and then you look at Jericho Cotchery and then Santonio Holmes. They could, either Santonio Holmes is your number one as well. You have a good core right there with Jericho Cotchery, Santonio Holmes, and Braylon Edwards, and then you have your other guys like what's his name, Brad. Drawing blanks here, but anyway, you have David Clowney as well. That's a good wide receiving core when you look at it as a whole. So,
and they have a good young tight end too.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah.
They have a good nucleus going on right now, so let's see what happens.
Yeah, and the defense is going to be solid. They got far last year, further than I thought they would. So the Jets are adding pieces. This is the key.
Right.
This is the key, Gayle, in my opinion. When you have a coach that's strong personality, you can take guys on that maybe don't fit that mold of, choir boys, so to speak. Like Jerry Jones said. You can't win with choir boys. But when you have a guy in the locker room like a Rex Ryan he rules the roost. You know what I mean? He's not going to take it. He's not going to put up with BS. So he's going to take guys that maybe were problems somewhere else, but they ain't going to be a problem there. So it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out and, if he's suspended or how that all shakes down. But for a fifth-round pick, for a guy like Santonio Holmes, personally, I'm doing that deal every day of the week.
They obviously don't care about the 4-game suspension, and they can hold down with who they have. And after that 4 games is over, he's gonna ball. He's gonna ball. So
yeah, let's be honest, real talk. How many 5th-round picks are impact players? You may get lucky, and somebody will say, "Oh, well, so and so is a 6th-round pick, or so and so is a 7th." Yeah, there's one in the whole field. At 4th, 5th, 6th-round pick that really is a guy that comes in and makes an impact. Santonio Holmes is gonna make an impact. You know what he can do. You know what I mean?
They can basically pick up his last year of his contract, and then if they want to offer him another contract during the year, they can. If they're not, they could wait till the end of the season to see how he fits. But then it's almost like a 1-year rental, basically. So
right. And the Jets are really using that final 8 rule to their advantage. They're not picking up free agents; they're trading. They got Cromartie via trade. Now they have Santonio Holmes via trade. They only signed 1 free agent, and that's LaDainian Tomlinson. And then they still got Jason Taylor waiting in the wing, who, they rumor has it that he's on his way to New York. So, they got a lot going on in New York. They're not sitting idle and waiting, for things to happen. They're making moves one after the next. So what's on the horizon? We don't know. It'll be interesting to see what they do with the 29th pick of the draft. Now they don't necessarily have to draft for a need. They can take the best player available that they think is going to help them out right away. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with that pick.
Yeah, definitely. A lot's going on in New York. I'll tell you that much.
Absolutely. Well, this is skinnypost.com. We're bringing you the offseason buzz. As we said, Santonio Holmes was traded to the New York Jets for a 5th-round pick. And we'll keep up with you guys every week as we approach the draft. We'll talk to you all soon. Thanks for stopping by. We appreciate having you. Skinnypost.com, giving you the skinny 24/7.